Many thanks there to Abdul Mansaye for the latest updating entertainment news. Right from there, that's how we draw the curtains of the news this morning. But before we go, a quick recap of a main point. Ghana's President John Dramani Mahama has paid a one-day working visit to his Sierra Leone counterpart, President Julius Maada Bio. The visit, marked by warm camaraderie and cultural fanfare, underscored the strong ties between the two West African nations. The Electoral Commission for Sierra Leone ECSL has announced Honorable PC Kulio AM Fori Jallo, winner of the Paramount Chief Member of Parliament by-election for Tonkolili District. And in commemoration of World Young Rheumatic Disease Day with the theme Stronger Together, Uniting for Arthritis Care in Children, Pafla Sierra Leone, in collaboration with SLMDA, has officially opened a dedicated rheumatology clinic for children. Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of the news from the Slbc Broadcasting Corporation. The new presenter Esther Sako. Continue to stay with your public broadcaster, the SLBC, if you can. Up next is Good Morning Sierra Leone. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Discover Sierra Leone, a hidden gem of West Africa, where the rhythms of life dance in harmony with the beauty of nature.
Feel the heartbeat of our culture in every beat of the drum, in every step of the dance.
Experience the tranquility of our shores, where each sunrise brings new stories and endless possibilities.
Immerse yourself in the vibrant tapestry of our daily life, where every color tells a tale and every face a friend.
Come, be enchanted by the sights and sounds of Sierra Leone.
A place where your adventure awaits
And memories are made.
Do you know the TV show that brings to you the decision makers who determine and shape the country's policies and programs? Bottom Line is the show to watch.
Well, join Asmi Uba as it brings to the table movers and shakers of society and policymakers whose decisions have direct impact on your lives.
Bottom Line comes up every Thursday at 7 p.m. on SLBC TV, channel 31 with Asmi Uba.
Bottom Line on SLBC TV, a program you can't afford to miss on SLBC TV channel 31. Join me now.
The show that touches every aspect of society as we leave no stone unturned.
It's Bottom Line, only on SLBC TV.
We are the national broadcaster, and I am Sulaiman Baba Toure, a reporter and presenter at the SLBC. Your voice, my voice.
From the commercial department, I am Regina Bangura. You are watching SLBC. Your voice, my voice.
I am Jonathan Turner, a reporter for Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation, SLBC. As a reporter, I do stories on education, health, politics, and more. Stay glued with SLBC to watch my stories. Your voice, my voice.
Lucian Ganda, producer Weyus, and producer and presenter Christian Editions on TV. This is the SLBC.
I am William Wise, presenter Weyus and also reporter at the SLBC, and this is the SLBC.
I am Salma Tabak, television executive producer. I produce programs on both radio and television. I'm a news anchor, a presenter, an announcer on radio. I enjoy what I do because I serve a public service broadcaster. It's a pleasure to work with the SLBC. I am Tilly Koma, Head of News and Current Affairs Unit, Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Our news hour now covers several segments. We have entertainment, business, weather, sports, ferry schedule, and human interest stories, not forgetting politics. We are doing all that to keep you people posted on what's happening all over the country. Thanks for being with us at SLBC. Keep blue. We are the best.
Where use? You get use?
Yes, I get use.
This is the program where they give you the use where they happen all about the country.
Inside where use, we go take you text, Facebook, and WhatsApp message. You complain where you go send us letter to the producer. We dey announce about things them working lost and plenty more.
We are there all about the country, but you self help for being the use that you area.
Where use? The original program where they give you updates.
Where use? You get use?
Yes, I get use.
without
that thing what we call love. Now that make
No fact na a very good program. Where any big person can look and enjoy.
Now the kind program we for spend time for watch. Now the kind program we for spend time for sit down for look.
And this program it made around land for my and I wonder you say for life.
The Love Factor show is about family, love, counseling,
relationship. We say we dey build and maintain relationship. This na program we say we dey counsel you for let you know how for dey with your partner, let you know how for settle disputes between you and your heart to heart.
Well, you do hear it for yourself.
join the Love Factor team
every Sunday 10 p.m.
for help make we all enjoy love and peace.
From a broadcasting house in Freetown, this is Good Morning in Sierra Leone, the program that always starts today. Well, it starts your day. And it is the program that talks, well, updates you on issues that are of relevance to national discourse. This is Good Morning Sierra Leone, and I am Shaku Smaila.
I am Francis Bernard. Our quote of the day is from Greek scientist Hippocrates, and it says there are in fact two things, science and opinion. The former begets knowledge, the latter ignorance. In the program this morning, Chairman and Information of the Right to Access Information speaks on the deadline of the 2024 Annual Compliance Report. We shall also be finding out the fate of hundreds of WAS candidates affected by WAEC portal entry for WAS 2025. And Sierra Leone will join the world to observe World Water Day on 22nd of March 2024. 2025, I beg your pardon. The program is Good Morning Sierra Leone. We invite you to participate by sending your comments and views to the number 0300733719. The number is 0300733719. Or you follow us on our Facebook page, Slbc TV Live. This is Good Morning Sierra Leone, and we are broadcasting live from Broadcasting House, New England.
And the program you're still watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone, the program that always starts your day. Well, we are broadcasting live from a broadcasting house, New Englandville in Freetown. Now, Friday the 21st of March is the deadline for the public authorities for the submission of their 2024 annual compliance report templates for onward submission to the Right to Access Information Commission. The RAIC needs the information to gauge the steps taken by MDs to implement this RAI Act of 2013, which is the Right to Access Information Act, and to also feed its international partners on how Sierra Leone positions itself in the global access to information stage. Well, in the studios to tell us more is Amara Foley. He is Public Information Officer at the Right to Access Information Commission. Good morning, Mr. Toronka, and welcome to the program. Well, this is not the first time you are fixing deadlines, and this is not the first time deadlines are, elapsing. So, what measures do you intend to take this time around? Because it seems as though since your establishment, compliance has been an issue. So, what do you do differently this time around?
Well, the Right to Access Information Act of 2013 gives the Right to Access Information Commission enormous powers to actually reprimand public authorities who fail to comply with the provisions of the Right to Access Information Act, one of which is to compile what we call annual compliance reports. That is the reports that actually explains how public authorities go about processing information requests, how those requests are, collected, processed, and stored. It is the only report that gives us that insight to know how public authorities are actually complying with the Act. And we have not been reprimanding public authorities because it is in the wisdom of the Commission. We were exploring our Chairman and Information Commissioner, Dr. Igwe Shaw, usually calls the carrot approach or the babysitting approach. That is to engage public authorities and let them understand the significance of such governance, system, because access to information is part of the eligibility indicators of several, global, funding criteria and all of that, and it also positions us as a nation positively or negatively, depends on how we do it. So we have been using that babysitting approach for far too long, and we've not been actually exploring the other power.
You mean the carrot approach?
Yes, we've been exploring the carrot
approach, and now it's now time for you to use the
stick approach.
But the thing is that, why do you think, Mr. Toronka, why do you think compliance is an issue? Why do you think public authorities are refusing to comply? Do you know? Have you been able to kind of conduct a survey for you to ascertain, the reasons for low-level compliance rate?
Yes, there are reasons, but to us, we think that this is supposed to be one of the simplest things to do by public authorities, if only they have the required infrastructure. That is, having the ICT department or having a public information officer that is in-house, that is tasked with the mandate of processing information and recording, information requests. So that by the end of the day, if only there is the database, they have a database or the data is available, they will just go there and then extract the data for the year under review. For now, we are looking at the 2024, year. So we expect public authorities to be recording. I think that's the problem. Records management is a key, is a fundamental.
So in other words, are you suggesting that it is not actually about them being deliberate, in not adhering to your request, which is mandated by law, by the law that actually established the Right to Access Information Commission, but it is like it is about capacity, or it is about willingness, not having that willpower. Where do you think the problem lies?
We will say it's a blend of the two, but it is not much difficult to always say, because institutions like Statistics Sierra Leone and that of Sierra Leone Library Board, they've always been complying. And from Sierra Leone, like we engaged them yesterday, what the focal person there told us is that the simple thing they do, whenever somebody requests for information, they take the detail of that individual, and then if they provide the information, they register it, the nature of the information provided. So they do all of that, and they do that serially. So at the end of the year, what they do, they just go to that database and extract it, and they give it to us.
Okay.
But other institutions, I think that's the challenge.
Okay.
If you don't do that, you will not be able to have the data to give to us.
Mr. Tonka, now that the deadline is gone, and you have been saying that after this deadline, you will be engaging institutions. If you are to rate the compliance rate so far on a 100% basis, how many percent do you want to give for institutions which complied so far?
For now, for what we have received for the period, the year under review, that's 2024, I would say it's like 35 to 40%.
Really?
Yes.
With all these media engagements
exactly.
that you've been calling on these institutions.
And we also go to those institutions. We do visitations, you know, and yesterday we went to several public authorities. We explained to them. We even developed a template, how you go about filling the form, soft copy and hard copy. And we've distributed those templates to all public authorities.
So what's the next step for the RAIC?
Well, we are still engaging public authorities. We are still encouraging them to comply, because this is not by our own making. Yes, this is not by our own making. It is a provision. It's a mandatory provision given to us by the Right to Access Information Act of 2013 that we are to put together a report, an annual report, and in that annual report there should be an analysis of how public authorities comply.
Is this not a recipe for another deadline to be given? Because you, as my colleague was saying before, now you came here, you spoke about a deadline that you actually extended to the 21st of March, which is tomorrow, I'm sure. No, which is 2 days from now. And then we are here, you're only talking about 30 or 35%. You only have 2 days to pull. Do you think people will comply?
Yeah, we think so, because as per yesterday, from what we did, as I said, we visited almost all public authorities. We gave them the soft copy. We explained to them how to go about filling in those templates.
You're only doing it yesterday?
Yeah, we've been doing that.
Okay.
And the commissioner and the chairman, Dr. Sarah Shaw, you know, instructed us to go back to those institutions to see if they are getting it right or wrong.
All right, thank you very much. He is Ama Atonka, and he is Public Information Officer from the Right to Access Information Commission. This is Good Morning Sierra Leone. You are invited to participate. The number is on your screen, 030-073-719. We continue with the program, and now we go to another important issue. Hundreds of pupils, school pupils affected by the West African Examinations Portal entry for WAS have protested as they were unable to meet the deadline, which was February. The examinations are to be conducted in June this year. Since November 2024, the MBSSC, Ministry and WILE have been calling on schools to ensure they meet the deadline by uploading the CAS and BIs of candidates. In the studios this morning, we have the National Coordinator, Civil Rights Coalition, Alfonso Manley, and we also have Association of Retired Principals, and represented here by Mr. Sylvester Mew. Good morning, Mr. Mew, and welcome to the program, and also Alfonso Manley.
Good morning, madam.
So let me start with you, Alfonso. You know, this is not the first time. Even before we came on here, I was just talking to you that you have been all over the place, calling on schools, calling on authorities to make sure they upload this CAS and BIS for candidates. Here we are today, few months to the exams, and you have pupils demonstrating because they've been left out by their schools, whether deliberately or not, we don't know. This is the situation we have at hand.
Yeah, thank you very much. Firstly, I pity those students because it is not by their making. It's either by the making of school authorities, because it is the responsibility of school leaders, in this case principals of school, who should upload their CAS grades in the WAEC portal. I've been here on several occasions to say, look, this is mandatory. It's in the Act, Section 31, subsection 2, clearly states that a pre-specified percentage, especially for those candidates writing the WAST exam, is 30%. So it is the responsibility of school authority to upload, but there is a process. Before now, you will upload CAS or you will send CAS to WAEC after they've written the examination. But there were several malpractices, bringing people, ineligible candidates to the system. People are not supposed to write the examination, should go sit private examination. All of them are brought into the system. So there are huge problems, not only Sierra Leone, West Africa. So they sat back, they developed this portal system. Principal, we are trained. Some of them claim that this training was not enough. So as CSO, we advocated to the Ministry of Basic Education and the Deputy Chief Education Officer and discussed with the management, and they gave training to all DDs nationwide, all IT officers. To say the reason why we are providing this training, for I was also part of that training, is that in your district, any principal who have challenge in accessing this system or uploading, you can give assistance to this school. In that training, CPSS was also present. The reason why CPSS was present, CPSS can help communicate to principals to say if you have challenge in uploading. We have also trained those who understand the portal system very well. And you have some SQAMS officers who are part of that training. They also understand the system of uploading. So I was part of that training to actually verify whether A, is the system working, or is it friendly, or the challenges some principal claim that they have with the system. Now, you should send all entries to the Ministry of Basic Education for the ministry to verify. And that also is legal. Because before you write the WASC exam, you must have passed the Becker examination. 5 credits, including English or mathematics, not English and mathematics. So those 5 subjects. Now, what the ministry is doing, they have a system, technology. Because I always speak of the education sector plan. People say, hey, well, this lecture, but these are the issues. These are the rules,
so now we are here,
Alfonso,
what do you think went wrong, and why are we
so
here?
This is what I'm explaining what went wrong. After the ministry have verified, they send this information to schools to upload. But you know what some schools will do? They will wait on the last day or the last moment. They will send their information. And when they send their information, if the ministry, for instance, if your own code is 002261, you pass Becker, what some principal will do, that 002261, they will give that code to over 60 pupils who fail the Becker exam. So the system will pick it up. So the ministry will send this information to you again. So go confirm these results. We have series of code, a particular code running through from number of pupils. And this is not right. So they will send you back the information to say, go. But again, principal know that you should admit somebody into SS1 after that person have passed the Becker examination. But when they fail the examination, they will leave one school, they go to another school for admission without you making reference to their results. You will admit them. Now, when it's time for them to sit the WASC exam, they have to go through this kind of procedure to say, let's verify the results. And when the result has been verified, they send it back to school to upload CAS 1. CAS 1 is the most important CAS. It contains the biodata of the child, your name, your address, your age, the subject, all of your information. Once you uploaded CAS 1 into the system generates what is called reference number. A police officer is identified by his number, not his name. If you go to a particular station, you say SL 13, 14, they say it's Samura. So they know you by, so the system generates that reference number. So what WAEC recognize you by is your reference number. So say this reference number is for this particular kid, this 12-digit number is for this particular kid. Without that reference number, you cannot upload CAS 2 or CAS 3. So which means class 1 is the most important one. If you are not uploaded class 1, you cannot do the BRS, cannot upload the BRS.
But it seems now, the minister was, I think he was here yesterday, and he has been heard in some sister radio and television stations saying that, especially the assessment, the CAS. Previously, it was about when you are in SS3. But after now, I think it was some years back when the other West African
2022.
Yes,
we joined it in 2022.
Adopted this a new system. But now the assessment, has to start from an SSS 1.
Yes, when you are promoted to
yes, SS2. And no longer SS3 as it used to be. But now, a few days ago, we saw hundreds of pupils, candidates or would-be candidates, well, they've been disqualified, marching to the Ministry of Education in protest, And the minister has made it categorically clear that because of the mishaps, because of, probably something that happened in their various schools, well, I cannot say negligence on the part of the school authorities, they are not going to sit to the WAS. So it is very difficult. And because it is difficult, and the candidates or the would-be candidates are now the ones who are going to suffer, what do you think should happen to authorities who might have failed to do the needful?
We should not have reached this point, right? And there is still room for us to lobby. There is that window. I'll come to that. Firstly, the minister have been doing some kind of engagement with WAEC. They've written to WAEC about 3 times for them to reopen the portal consider. On bilateral engagement, the minister have engaged his colleagues, minister in Ghana and Nigeria. I know about those meetings. He has been working behind the scene tirelessly for the portal to be reopened. But 2 issues. This happens last year. Government pay private WAS for those kids. I am asking the question, which action did the ministry take against those principals who were defaulted?
Okay, Alfonso, with that question, let's go to Mr. Mill, who was once in that position of principal. Now, Mr. Mill, you are from an association where you have retired principals of schools. And you are supposed to have influence over some of your guys, some of your men now at the helm of some of these schools that we are talking about. What is it that you guys are getting right that the current principals of schools are not doing, and that is taking us to where we are now?
It's quite a serious issue now in the education sector. We have problems with leadership. We have problems with the Teaching Service Commission. We have problems with the Ministry of Education. But my main concern is about the pupils who will not be taking the exams. My major concern, particularly for the female pupils, once you say they are not taking exams, they will engage themselves in other issues which will not be towards the development of themselves, not Sierra Leone. I have learned that when you want to damage any country, you just damage the education system. The country finishes. And this is a big challenge. But luckily for us, for now, as I said, right now they are having the International Annual General Meeting in Liberia. Sierra Leone is represented there and all of these things. I have worked at that same level where countries have had issues. And whenever they have issues, we don't wait until we go into the meeting. Perhaps when we're out, when we are chatting, we lobby among ourselves, talk to our people. I want to present this matter, and when I present it, please, I need your support. They can do it. It was just even during Ebola. We had a special exam for Sierra Leone.
Yes.
I was the one who represented Sierra Leone at that meeting. They wanted to take somebody from the ministry. And the minister said no. He said Mr. Mill is the one they know in WAEC. They know him in Ghana, Nigeria, Gambia. He has been helping them to train them. He said, Mr. Mill, please, we are sending you. So I left here alone. Went to Ghana, lobby, and a special exam was arranged for Sierra Leone. We can still do this right now, because if you have people who know how to lobby, you don't wait until you go into the official presentation. You would have spoken to other countries' representative before you go to the meeting, so that when you present your case, they will give you the necessary.
So, Mr. Mio, let us get this clear. Are you suggesting that it is not too late? If only we can lobby well as a nation,
yes,
we can get these candidates seats to the WASC.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
That is what I am saying.
So how does this lobbying happen?
They are now having the annual general meeting. Last year, Sierra Leone hosted them here. Right now, they are hosting them in Liberia. All representatives are there. You can talk about it, and even at that meeting, they can even say, we'll shift the date for about 2 or 3 weeks. You understand? That's the committee that has the final say.
But then, have you as somebody with this wealth of experience, who has been in the system, who knows what happens, who knows how things happen, have you suggested this idea to the ones who are now in charge?
I have spoken to people.
Okay.
The bulk of the challenges they have in the education system, I have spoken to the person responsible. I have spoken about persistent lateness, compulsory school lesson, late payment of subsidy. You go to like book fields by the bus station, or you see children even right now go there, the way they are using the buses, no control. There are things they are doing in the buses which are not correct.
No, the thing is, Mr. Lee, let us narrow our discussion or conversation on this, what is now very much
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Now our delegation is in Liberia.
Yes.
On WAEC.
Yes. Annual general meeting.
So has this information fit hard in?
I don't know. I was not even, because I don't know.
Oh.
Yes. Can I just come in? Okay. So in the WAEC system, you have what is called the chief government nominee. That chief government nominee is the bridge between WAEC and the Ministry of Basic Education.
Okay.
And that chief government nominee is the chief education officer. So firstly, if the minister writes WAEC directly, they take it as political interference. You understand the issue of FIFA and the Ministry of Sports writing to them. It's like the Ministry of Sports writing to FIFA. But if the National Sports Authority writes to FIFA, they pay attention. So once the correspondent comes from the chief, it should be the chief education officer who should be on the forefront to lobby, as Mr. Mi is rightly saying, maybe over tea break, over coffee break, lunch. You can sit, discuss it. I want to go table this matter, please. And
but Alfonso, you need to know first if this particular topic we are discussing about candidates who are not going to sit to WASC because of what has happened in their various schools. Well, it's not time for us to be casting aspersions or blame.
We're still not late.
Now, is this part of the discourse in Liberia?
We are not in Liberia, but I am telling you the procedure. This is what I'm explaining to you.
Okay.
That WAEC listens more to the chief education officer because it's the chief government nominee.
So we want to know first if she is in Monrovia?
Well,
sorry.
Yes, in Monrovia. I'm sure it will be part of this meeting because last year we hosted them. Other chief education officer came in. This is not a program where I invite the public, but Mr. Miu have served in that capacity. Last year he was invited. So we are saying what Mr. Miu should have also done. He knows the chief education officer. When we were on the radio, he commented on him being a former principal, and he should have engaged and give them that kind of knowledge. But I am saying, no sooner we take it at that political level, minister to minister, they thought it's interference. But at this material time, the president can intervene.
Okay.
Our concern is for these pupils to write the exam, and this is what we want to happen. So I'm appealing to President Bill. We are not yet late.
Okay, Alfonso, just now you said we are not here to. It's not the fault of school authorities.
No, it's not the fault of the pupils.
The pupils, sorry. But Mr. Miu, I'm still coming back to you. Do we always have to plead? Sierra Leone as a nation as a result of the negligence on the part of certain people who are supposed to play their role, which they are paid for, but they renege on doing it? Do we always have to play?
Madam, once you are living, there are always challenges in life. And when these challenges come, you have to find a way of taking care of them. I have worked at all levels at WAEC, having served as chief examiner for 30 years. When you want to do some of these things, countries normally have challenges. But as soon as you go, you meet your colleagues, you have been working together, you present your case, and they will tell you, we'll give you support. When we go to the meeting, just present it, you understand? We have to lobby. But I think I am very worried. We need to even call some principals and talk to them, because this is a big challenge. It is an embarrassment to the pupils, to the parents. If you go to the schools now, the pupils are not going, you understand? Because some have said, I am not taking the exam. We need to even talk to them. What I was suggesting, when I was there, I used to tell them, if a date is scheduled for 31st or 30th of April, I will tell people it is the 31st of March. So that even if you are late, you understand, there is some room for you to amend the situation. Then we need to strengthen the school system, madam, because you go to some of the schools, you call some principals, they are not even up to the mark. When they had issues, when anti-corruption and others were taken to FSLD about 2 years ago, I had to plead on their behalf, and they listened to me. Some of the principles we really need to strengthen it.
But Mr. Miller, now you are still living. You're not here. You're yet around us. You are with us. You are not gone yet. So it is that you've been abandoned. You've been. It's like your advice is no more necessary. You are not.
When they are convening meetings, they don't even invite you.
Yes, I'll come to that, because it's like you are a living legend, insofar as the education sector is concerned in this country, with all the experience you have, and you are still living. But it seems as though you probably your services are no longer needed.
Well, perhaps it is so.
Yes.
Because all what I've observed is that whenever they have programs, they all invite their friends. That is my new observation. Perhaps when they are giving incentive, their friends will benefit from it. You understand? But what we used to do, when I was chairman of principals, I even formed CTA Chairpersons Association. We normally meet. And then when you have risen to the rank of a chief examiner at WAEC, you know a lot that you have learned. You have even influence that you can put across to assist, particularly this case that we have of pupils being left out.
Okay, Mr. Mill, now let's go to you, Alfonso. You have been, as a civil society organization, you've almost always been talking about this education sector, especially this issue of BRS, CAS and BRS. And we are still not finding a way out of this, because last year, I can recall, we had the conference, the Association of Private Schools. In fact, they were affected most, the last time. And now we have prominent schools in Sierra Leone that are affected by this whole issue. And from what I have learned from you and Mr. Mill is that we still have the opportunity to make amends to what have gone wrong. Now, let's talk about what should be done to some of these principles that are involved in this whole issue.
Yeah, thank you. But before that, let me just, because I also have MOU with the Ministry of Basic Education. Because Mr. Mill saying they call normally their friends. Well, in terms of the educationists, there are many. You have Dr. Dabo, Jodi Ali, you have Duramani Lako, all of these, I mean, they pick from that pool. Mr. Mill can be one of them, you understand? But those, for instance, those who wrote the education sector plan.
Yes. Professor. Business like that. Let's think about the pool and that place. They still don't want. They pull up.
Dr. Margaret Dambo, the current chancellor at the university.
What's happened to her?
So these are the people that wrote the ESP. These were the consultants. All of them are educationists, right? But calling from a pool, you cannot get all of them in one room.
Okay.
So that aspect of them calling their friends, I don't, from what I'm seeing and monitoring our civil society in that ministry, I don't think that is not the case.
Right.
For instance, the recently concluded annual education week, all of them that were in that committee are professional. They have 40, 50 years standing. But to your question now, right, I am calling on His Excellency because firstly, he came with this free quality education, and he is the one responsible for all of us, the kids, their mothers, all of us, we are under his umbrella. It is time President Bio intervene in this matter. WAEC normally print surplus question paper. They will not print exact paper. I know that for sure. They always print surplus question paper. And Mr. Mi is now saying if they lobby enough, maybe we can have a ship based on your lobbying power. But if Mr. Mi have this kind of knowledge, he too should approach the ministry. The ministry, they approach with an open door policy.
What if he has been trying and
he has not said that.
Atmosphere.
So I'm saying, he mentioned the chief education officer this morning. I think Parker is approachable. The minister, Conrad, is approachable.
Okay,
and he knows Mr. Mi very well. Mr. Mi is a stakeholder in the sector. But I am saying we had their disagreement. Right. I don't want to go into it. So if there are other disagreements, put aside this disagreement. Let's look for the future of this.
Okay, we'll
engage immediately to see how these kids can write there.
Okay, Alfonso, we'll look into the future of this business. This discussion is something that cannot end now. But however, we go for a very short break. And when we come back, we shall also talk to you and Mr. Miu, because the conversation continues. The way forward. Because now, as it is, these pupils are in a serious quagmire.
As a mother of the house, whenever I want to prepare palm soup, there's no need pounding palm fruit. All I need is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. My soup is done, and its preparation, it is not difficult at all. Nkulenu palm soup base, it's easily done with no difficulties. Just take few ladles and your soup is done. And its flavor, it's amazing. This is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. And this is Nkulenu's Ghana's original spiced palm soup base. Iron fruit and turkey berries are naturally added.
Also available brown gold natural cocoa powder, sunny gold brown sugar, neat fufu flour, shito, pisa, and moringa. All available at Nyami Ado Enterprise, 1 Lower Waterloo Street, Freetown.
Nkulenu palm soup base.
Ghanaian original taste.
We're back, and the program you're still watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Well, we still have the Amara Foronka from the Rights to Access Information Commission as the deadline for public authorities to submit information needed by the commission for onward distribution to donor partners, people who are supposed to be having some of these, information probably for academic work, for research, and for development purposes. For years now, institutions, ministries, departments, and agencies have been reneging in complying to requests from the Rights to Access Information Commission. Now, Mr. Foronka, should they fail? The other you spoke about now, you have plans to use the stick approach. You'll be using carrots. But it's like it is persistent in a way, and compliance seems to be very, very low. What do you do differently? Should they fail to adhere or to comply?
Okay, what we've been doing lately is to let public authorities know that we have powers to reprimand them. And one of such powers is to actually fine public authorities up to 100,000 leons. Yes, the law gives us that power.
That is, if converted, is
100,000 new
100,000 new loans.
New.
That's 100 million folios.
Wow.
And also, we have that power to, because what has been happening is that you have people that will say, at the end of the day, it's the institution that is going to be reprimanded. It's not me in particular that is tasked with the responsibility to do that. So we're also letting public authorities understand that the institution can be spared, and the individual, maybe there's an individual there that is tasked with a responsibility that has deliberately refused not to comply. The law also gives the Right to Access Information Commission the power to single out that individual and fine him or her a sum of 10,000.
Okay, Etonka, we'll come back to you, but you know, it is very good or imperative that we keep ourselves healthy. And we have decided that, every edition we, kind of just bring you tips on how we should keep ourselves healthy. So now we bring you the health tips for this edition of program, Good Morning, Sierra Leone.
Urinary tract infections are extremely common, but if left untreated, these common bacterial infections could spread to your kidneys and cause long-term damage. Here are 6 warning signs you may be dealing with a UTI. Number 1, you have a frequent urge to pee. A UTI can affect different parts of your urinary system, like your urethra, ureters, or the tubes that carry pee from your kidneys to your bladder, and the lining of your bladder. These can become irritated because of your body's inflammatory response to the introduction of bacteria or other microorganisms that have entered your urinary system. This inflammation makes you feel like you need to pee often, even if you just went to the bathroom. Number 2, you have difficulty peeing. When you experience an increased urge to pee, you may only be able to squeeze out 2 or 3 drops, and at times, nothing at all. This happens because inflammation causes your urethra to swell and may also cause weakness in your bladder, leading to decreased urination or occasional urinary leakage. Number 3, it hurts to pee. This is the most common symptom of a UTI and one of the earliest signs. When you pee, you might experience a burning sensation, a feeling of pins and needles, or a subtle pinching in your urethra that comes and goes whenever you urinate. Number 4, your pee is bloody or cloudy and has a foul odor. Urine can appear cloudy because of the presence of blood, discharge, or a buildup of the white blood cells that are helping your body to fight the infection. Your urine may also smell more foul than usual because of the bacteria that are present. Number 5, you have severe cramps or pain in your sides, abdomen, pelvis, or lower back. As the UTI moves up towards your kidneys, you might experience cramping or severe shocks of pain on one or both sides of your body, your abdomen, pelvis, and lower back. Number 6, you have a fever, chills, nausea or vomiting, and/or extreme fatigue or confusion. Like the cramps associated with a kidney infection, these are all signs of a more severe infection and require immediate attention to reduce any potential damage or scarring to your kidneys. UTIs, though common, should never linger long. Knowing the signs and seeking medical attention right away, especially if you have frequent or recurring UTIs, are an important step in making sure you protect your kidneys and the health of your urinary system for the long term.
We are back, and I think we've learned a lot from the health tips, because really we need to know, how our systems work, so that we take the necessary precautions.
That was about the urinary tract infection.
Yes, and especially for men, but that is just that, and we need to actually have ourselves prepared for some of these advice. Now, we still have Mr. Miu, a retired teacher, retired but not tired, Alfonso Mangi from the Civil Rights Coalition. Now, this question is for both of you. you know, there are times when you are addressing a problem, you have to go down memory lane to kind of understand the root cause or causes. Now, how can you provide SSS1 cars for a candidate, SSS2 cars for a candidate when probably that candidate was only admitted in SS3 because he or she wants to benefit from the government grant insofar as WASC fees, you know, are concerned. And, you know, because I know that is where the problem lies. Some of these candidates did not start in those schools at SS1, not even SS2. But now SS3, school authorities, you know, they know that it is a grant, government is going to pay for it. So, if they say now you have to go as far back as SS1, SS2, those information will not be provided. That is where the problem lies. I don't know. Because I don't have for SS1 and SS2, so how can I provide it? You know, you cannot give what you don't have. If you are not, you are not. Mr. Neil, don't you think that is where the problem lies?
I think that is where the problem is. That is to just stop these principals from taking pupils to SS3 and taking the exams, and the government pays for those exams. I went to a particular school to inspect the WAS. The candidates I saw with vehicles, the place was packed full. The lady even took a child there and was moving up and down the other side. So I saw whose child is that? I said, that's my child, you understand? But now that government is asking for this SS1
a school uniform.
Yes. Okay. They have collected money from them.
So it means that the person did not sit in SS1 or SS2.
No, that is to combat those situations. To combat that situation, that is why they are asking for cars SS1 and 2. Some just go SS3. When the exam is going, they go and register under the school. They pay the school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Alfonso. Yeah. So there is a provision if you are in school A, where you attempted your S1 and S2 and you want to write the examination in another school. Firstly, as long as you are promoted to S2, that school should have uploaded your CAS. So when you go through the right procedure, you write to the ministry for that particular kid CAS to be transferred. It is acceptable. This is where we need to understand.
Let me just go.
Ask me the question. Can I answer the question?
Mr. Lee was talking about.
No, the question you asked, you said pupils in S3, they want to take them without CAS. I'm saying it's two scenarios. In the first place, if you attended St. Edward School from 1 from 2, and you want to write the was at Albert Academy, it is possible. You write for your CAS to be transferred, they will transfer it. That's why I attended the training. It is the school, the principal. They write, yes, with the reference number. Say this candidate, this reference number, please transfer the CAS to Albert Academy. It is acceptable.
No, Alfonso, that is not where the problem lies. Now, the situation here is like Mr. Lee was saying. Let us set the record straight. Now, Mr. Lee is saying he went to a particular school.
But that's a different scenario.
No, that's not about transfers. Here, we're not talking about transfers here. We're talking about this person had left school long for many years. She was only now in that school to sit to the WASC and in a uniform, and she had left school long 4, 5, 6, 10, 15 years. She wants to get requirements to go probably to university, and she's now there. Where do you think she can get her cash from?
So you have rephrased the question. So this is why I want the two solutions so the public understands. Because we are here to provide public education.
Yes.
It doesn't mean if you are in one school, you want to write for
transfer.
Good, that's fine. Secondly, now we don't have the repeater system. It has been abolished by cabinet. So we not expect anyone to repeat. And secondly, when you are writing the WAS, they give you a range. Say within this period, you must have sat the Becker exam within this period to this period. After which you will not be allowed. So those candidates, they still have room to go write the public, the private WAS exam.
I don't know if I got Mr. Mills' question or submission right. You have this current education system has this policy of allowing candidates with kids to go to the examination hall Am I right?
Yes.
You
if
have that.
during
So
the
if
course you are pregnant and this court came about with the radical inclusion, it has 4 objectives. Those parent learners, we call them parent learners, who during the course of you are pregnant.
So it is possible that it's one of them who took their child to.
No, it's not one of them, because Mr. Miu will know to distinguish this is
somebody and assess.
Yes, he can assess.
Okay, so
what you are saying are those candidates they brought in who are not eligible to write this exam. So you see them in the hall. So this is why some of these measures being put in place.
So how was that the system beating? Because I how was the system beating to get that?
So this is where you see the connivance. This is the question I was waiting for. Exactly. This is where you see the connivance. So this is where you know that for this to happen, you have their agents at work, you have their agents at MBSSC not doing the right thing. Some of them, right? Because how do you enter cast for that particular candidate? How do you? How do you? No, let's ask ourselves.
Well, that is where the problem lies.
So this is where ACC, when they called us, they say part of this whole issue of examination malpractice, all of you are responsible.
Because they know it is grants, and they know government is paying for it. They don't want to go see the private works, because that is your own business. You have to foot your own bills. Now it is a grant, you know. So they prefer to go through some of these and
they solicit money from them.
Yes, for sure. It is not for nothing. It is not pro bono. You understand?
Yes.
So that is this whole thing is we are just trying to be nice, but the whole thing is that is where the problem lies. How can you provide a cast that is not available?
So they were doing it when it was after the exam. So they would just get all sorts of names, doctor the ages of those candidates to say this is what we have forecast. They submit it and we accept. So to put a stop to this, if you go back to the education sector plan, I like discuss education, citing the education sector plan. Objective 7 says eliminate all forms of corruption in education. Objective 7.
Is that possible?
So I'm coming. Objective 9 says the use of data and technology. So they combine both of them. You have the portal system. It's a technology issue. Upload as the child progresses.
So where do we find?
So it will be difficult to fill ineligible candidates into the system.
So Alfonso, quickly, and the question is for both of you. Mr. Miu, let's start with you. Where do we find WAEC in all of this? Because for that candidate that you are talking about, it must have been a network between somebody from the Ministry of Basic and somebody from WAEC to be able to get, because if the MBSS is set their list to WAEC, and then that name is there, definitely WAEC we have to upload. So where do we find WAEC in all of this that we are talking about?
I don't think WAEC is responsible. Our major problem is the school system. I'm saying so because I have served as principal and I've seen what some people have been doing.
Okay.
The mistake some of them make, they even raise the CAS mark, which is about 30%. That thing, if you raise it up, and then the task mark, you don't do well, it's going to bring your mark right down. Oh. That thing was written by an American. I worked on standard fixing. Your CAS mark they are giving should almost be equal and realistic. When you even have your CAS mark even higher than your CAS mark, it's going to raise it up.
So there was overgrading.
Yes, so when you
overgrading on the CAS,
you have the T-score system.
Yes.
Okay.
So
yes, these are
they look at your performance.
Okay.
If you for instance, if your CAS mark is 29/30, 29/30, 29/30, and the 70% performance they expect you to perform way below 10%. So this is what Mr. Miu says.
So is that something?
Yes, it affects you.
Is that something that is affecting the entire education system?
The people are affecting.
Now the thing is, you see people, they have very good results. Just imagine the time they introduce this entrance exam to colleges and universities. People with A's, they went and they failed. Those who probably C's, they are the ones who made it. So it's like people have results that they do not deserve.
That is correct, sir. I am saying so. That is why, even when I was explaining down, that some of them go to some schools that are even right up the hill. By the time you are coming to inspect the exam, they begin to arrange. Some of them take the exam to the last floor.
So the problem now, so this is where WAEC comes in. Okay. No school have the gates. No, let me just come. This is where WAEC have the problem. No school have the authority to say my school is a center. Those center, before they become a center, they have to be verified by WAEC, not even the Ministry of Basic Education.
Yes, man, I know the issues are many, but
you need to know this. It is the responsibility of WAEC to say this particular place is fit to conduct an examination, and not the ministry.
Well, that one is a peculiar problem, because in this country, we have seen now. In this country, this is the only country in West Africa.
And the ministry, you say, okay, give this school code, okay, give this school XYZ.
Now the thing is now,
and do
this
one physical assessment.
Yes, Alfonso, this one that you are saying is something that cut across, because it is here you can see probably somebody with 2-1 or 1-1, performing. You know, somebody with division 3 performing better than somebody with 1-1 or 2-1. You understand? That is it is happening here in Sierra Leone. So that is one is a peculiar issue, and you guys in the education system, you know, has to address it. Right. But let us go to some of the papers. You know, I start with you know, the Alconis paper, which says EU pledges 900,000 euro to support ambitious media reform project in Sierra Leone. This is the Alconis paper. And then the Vice President launches National Forest and Climate Forum to safeguard Sierra Leone's future. World Bank's Abdul Mwangi calls for urgent climate action at National Forum. These are some of the stories you can see in the Awoko newspaper.
From the Awoko, go to the Independent Observer with some of the stories. Tonkolili SLPP grassroots rights President Bill. And Bill host Ghanaian president disclosed with a picture of President Julius Maada Bio and that of the president of Ghana, and Dr. Ibrahim Bangura, a leader with a big heart for the people. President, there's politics is all.
Yes, a young man, and he also wants to be to carry the flag of the main opposition, the APC. The Standard Time says university fraud. Unimark expels 3 and suspends 7. Well, this is a major story in the Standard Times newspaper.
From the Standard Times, we go to the AYV newspaper. AYV, let's buy local, eat local, feed salon. Chief Minister encourages Sierra Leoneans. This is quoting the Chief Minister. And another story, youth activist right President Bio. These stories plus more, including sport, for those of you who want to know about the national team New Stars, even as they play tomorrow.
Well, definitely tomorrow there's going to be this encounter, which is going to be, you know, the debut for Mohamed Kalon as the new man, as the new kid on the block, as Sierra Leone plays against Guinea-Bissau in the ongoing World Cup qualifiers. We only hope and pray that tomorrow's game at the Samuel Kayendo Sports Stadium will be a victory for our darling Leone Stars. Now, the Unity newspaper says Ghana's president visits Sierra Leone. VP Julia Jallo urges Sunbird Bioenergy Limited to increase energy production. Well, independent body to supervise and conduct SLPP re-run elections. There are many stories there in the Unity newspaper.
From the Unity, we go to the Salon Times newspaper. The Salon Times newspaper. So over 196 alleged missing vehicles, Transport and Aviation Ministry clears the air. And boosting agriculture, Roque Commercial Bank MD supports launch of Eastern Farmers Poultry Feed Mill. And finally, Association of Carbon Conservation and Reforestation launched. The stories plus more in the Salon.
Now, my final paper here for today is the Awareness Times newspaper, and it says Liberia authorities strengthen ties with NRA in customs operations as they head to UN as Sierra Leone ambassadors deputizing the permanent representative Kalilu Tutangi and Madam Swallow Hale Mother Biu. Africell honored by supporting radio stations in Sierra Leone. Well, there are other stories if you want If you want to have more, go and get your own copy.
Well, our final paper for today is the exclusive newspaper. The exclusive newspaper to boost financial access about BSL revamps collateral registry. And SLRA DG shines the schools with a picture of the Director General of SLRA, Alfred Jalil Momodu, and CTC mining to produce 5 million tons of bauxite. And finally, NIA seeks to increase compliance on housing task. The stories plus more you find in the exclusive newspaper. Where we must remind you that the views expressed in these newspapers does not in any way reflect the views of the SLBC. We are merely reviewing what is in the newspapers. The program Good Morning Sierra Leone continues. We still have Mr. Tonka with us in the studios. Now, Mr. Tonka, even as we wrap up. So now that we are just 2 days away from the deadline, what next?
We are still emphasizing for public authorities to understand that access to information is not only a national thing.
If they fail?
It's now an international thing.
If they fail, what will you do?
If they fail, as I said, we've not been using the stick approach, and we don't want to use it because we want institutions to understand.
But how long can you continue? How long can you continue?
We will be left with no option but to use
but
it.
Don't you think it is because you have been so magnanimous, in the past, the reason you have been taken for granted, because you know that nothing will come out of it. Because now, have you explained to them that the information they provide will enhance, probity, accountability, transparency, and justice as well? Have you told them that?
Access to information in Sierra Leone, started being taken seriously after the 2013 Right to Access Information Act. But annual compliance reports on access to information is not something that is old. It's something new. It's a few years ago that we started.
So now use the stick approach, right?
Yeah,
okay.
We'll be left with no option if we are to use the stick approach.
Okay, Mr. Tonka, thank you so much. And this is Anara Tonka from the Right to Access Information Commission. Now, Alfonso and Mr. New, what do you think should be the way out of this crisis? Because it is a crisis, because hundreds of our compatriots, are being now deprived writing their exams. So what do you think should be the way out of this crisis? Alfonso and Mr. New, quickly.
Well, I'm just appealing to authorities. Let the kids don't suffer for the inaction of some of these school leaders. I'm appealing, please, let's exhaust all means so we'll get these kids to write their examination. I'm really sympathizing with those brave kids. You had some of them, when you interview them, they are heartbroken. I'm just appealing to authorities. Put all political difference aside, let's come together and ensure we talk to WAEC for them to reopen the portal so they can write their exam.
Thank you very much, Alfonso. Mr. Miu.
I'm just appealing to the ministry to lobby and assist these pupils to ensure that they take the exams.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Miu and Alfonso Manley, and also Mr. Toronka from IIC. But this is how we bring the curtain down for today's edition of Good Morning Sierra Leone, broadcast live on TV. Many thanks to the rest of the crew here at Broadcasting House. A special one to our producer, Daphne Sainab Kama, for putting the program together. Frances Bernard is my name, and a quick reminder of our quote of the day, which is from Greek scientist Hippocrates, and it says, there are in fact two things, science and opinion. The former begets knowledge, the latter ignorance. Frances Bernard is my name. Have a lovely day. Good morning.
And I'm Sheku Smaila saying goodbye and have a splendid day. Good morning. Sierra Leone returns tomorrow.
As a mother of the house, whenever I want to prepare palm soup, there's no need pounding palm fruit. All I need is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. My soup is done, and its preparation, it is not difficult at all. Nkulenu palm soup base, it's easily done with no difficulties. Just take few ladles and your soup is done. And its flavor, it's amazing. This is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. And this is Inkulenu's Ghana's original spiced palm soup base. Iron fruits and turkey berries are naturally added.
Also available brown gold natural cocoa powder, sunny gold brown sugar, neat fufu flour, shito, pisa, and moringa. All available at Nyami Ado Enterprise, 1 Lower Waterloo Street, Freetown.
Inkulenu palm soup base.
Ghanaian original taste.